ونادوا أصحاب الجنة أن سلام عليكم لم يدخلوها وهم يطمعون.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Viewers, my man Abdullah, our beloved friend, responsible father of two. And to be quite honest, I have to get warm up again because it has been a while.
Your podcast so far is really informative, and I enjoy the episodes on the channel. To be honest, really learning something from each one of them. But then you'll be disappointed that they have a lot of mashallah, really good and highly situated brothers, and then you see in the videos, and then you see myself, and then you get disappointed.
There's a reason you're invited.
No, but yeah, that was a good introduction.
Yeah,
it was not so late in the Netherlands. I think 2020.
It was quite recent.
Something.
Was it? For how long were you there in the Netherlands when we spoke?
Yeah, that's the January 2020, and then we met short after that.
Shortly after, right?
Yeah. And then we did it even after we met the brother at the mosque. You remember?
Right.
I had one A4 paper with all the rules, and I really prepared for test because I know what he's talking about. Huh? It's true because I grew up in this society where people want to get that credit with no effort, so they want to be known as people that.
So just for the viewers' sake, what are we talking about right now? Like the ijaza, what does that mean?
Yeah, so it's when you get this ijaza, that means that there is a sanad, there is a path from the Prophet ﷺ to you. So you read in front of someone, this someone read in front of someone, and he approved his recitation. So there is a lot of people on the planet right now who did that with the previous generation, and the previous generation did that with the previous. But then the problem with the brother was concerned about that a lot of people claim that they have this kind of high precision recitation. I don't have it, to be honest. I never claimed that I have it. But whoever has it should be really going through this process, like sitting in front of someone, reciting the entire book, 604 pages in Arabic from his head, very perfect recitation.
Right.
And then he gets this ijazah. It's a really, really high...
It's tedious.
Yeah. And even all around the world, I think it has another name. If you go to Pakistan, it's the Hifdh. So this Hifdh status, like this guy knows he knows the Quran by heart.
Yeah.
That a lot of people are faking that sometimes. That's why the brother was concerned. I like that.
Yeah.
I prepared so much, and then after very, very short time, he said, "Yeah, okay, you're good."
Good. Yeah. I was like, "What?" And you were sitting there with like 5 pages, written, handwritten, no typing, right? All the notes and everything. I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, of course. But I don't claim that I should have this status. It's just a normal person who had a privilege that his parents are really wanting him to memorize and to do the Tajweed and to recite the Quran perfectly, and then that's kind of accumulates over the years,
right?
And then you feel obligated to, if you have this kind of knowledge, to share it.
To share, right?
Especially when you are in a country that not a lot of people speak the language, so sometimes do a lot of mistakes. So that's why it comes from this. And I had this, alhamdulillah, I had the intention even before I come to the Netherlands. I had the intention, like, if someone wants help in this subject, because I've been all my life training, you can put it like that, and then I will help.
Right.
But that, alhamdulillah, it came really, really easy. There was also a group before I meet you. It's even how I meet you. It was also another brother that I met from the start when I started in the Netherlands, and then he also started a small group, like, hey, we want to learn let's give us some lessons. I did that for them.
Yeah.
And then that also came up when I meet you. And then
Right.
so subhanallah.
SubhanAllah.
So Allah gives this opportunities to whoever seeks it.
So you said privileged.
Now,
What do you mean by that? You were privileged.
with the parents stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So that I feel like when I was young, it was I want to play. I don't want to go to the mosque and
Play,
stay for
football.
like play
You want to
whatever.
become
So
Mohammed
the
Salah.
kids, no. It's just I want to waste time like all the kids want. I want to be with friends and waste time. I don't want to. You don't see how important it is. I had also this with my parents and my older brother. He's Hafidh, mashallah. So my older brother is so I'm considered his student. So there's 12 years between me and him, and he
Right.
also used to be monitoring me a lot, and my younger brother as well, to really go and sit in front of Sheikh.
So you had school, and then after school, all the kids would go play football or PlayStation.
Oh, that's not every day, but even if you take 1 hour from a kid's life, he wants to spend playing. Yeah. So
It's terrible.
at that time, I didn't. Yeah, at that time, I didn't have this. How important it is. Also, what is also, yeah. You gotta imagine that everyone speaks the language there. It's not cool. Like everyone speaks Arabic.
Right. Even the distinction between the Egyptian dialect and the true Fusha, the traditional Arabic.
Yeah. So
Isn't there a coolness there? You know?
yeah. No, it's the dialect is coming from the Arabic language. Huh? So we write in the same letters, and most of our dialects come from the Arabic language. But yeah, we actually learn the Fusha, the Arabic language, in school. So
Right.
we learn it. Every year we have subject, and we are in touch with the Fusha. We are not so much separated.
But sometimes when I speak to you about the Egyptian dialect and the level of Arabic there,
Yeah.
not even not only you, but like generally Egyptians, they say no, it's terrible. The state of Arabic in Egypt.
Yeah. So the dialect is terrible. Yes, we are murdering the language itself. But that's the state. I think in all the Arabic-speaking nations, the Middle East. If you
Right,
go from
right.
the borders of Iran to the borders of Morocco, all these come from Arabic. But it's completely, it is different. So if you know Fusha, you can survive in these countries. You can really talk. You can order something. You can.
They'll
talk.
be looking at you like, why are you speaking
they
this
know
way?
that you are outsider. you know.
Right.
I need to talk. The dialect even changes from the south and the north of Egypt.
So you've been there just 2 years, right? Or 3 years? When you go
3
back,
years.
do they sense some Europeanness from you? Or
With the language?
yeah, with the language or just the way,
No.
Because it's funny, like I know people who were like for 10 years or 20 years in the Netherlands now, when they go back to their home country, people can sense that they are
Yeah,
Right?
when
Not local
wearing
anymore.
when wearing a seatbelt or
when you're being safe,
yeah.
responsible.
Yeah. So normally people don't wear seatbelts there.
Yeah.
So if I do, because I feel like a hypocrite. I before I come to the Netherlands, I didn't even care. Sometimes if someone reminds me to wear a seatbelt, I think they built the cars that being sold there without this annoying
people, yeah.
alarm.
Yeah.
They even have something to make it silent.
Yeah.
But now if I go, because I wear it here all the time. Then I go there. I'm not gonna not wear it because it's like,
Yeah,
why?
it's weird,
This is my standard now. These kind of things, but not with the language. Not with the language.
I see. So we just quickly spoke about ijaza, but of course you can get ijaza. Am I pronouncing it right, by the way?
Ijaza, no.
It's not with the ayn, it's with the e.
No, E. Yeah,
Right.
alif.
So I said that wrong all the time. Ijaza.
No.
So you can get it, from my understanding, in topics, certain particular topics, and then one of them is Tajweed, right? Or is it just
no? So you get it. So if you get ijaza, that means that you You know the book by heart, and you recite it correctly.
I see.
So the guy who gives you this needs to check every single page.
Right. So there are two elements involved there. There's Hifdh and there is Tajweed.
Yeah, correct recitation, yes.
Correct recitation.
It's a big responsibility.
Yes. So let's pretend I'm 5 years old now.
No.
And explain to me what Tajweed is.
Oh. 5 years old.
Yes. Almost your son's age.
Okay, so Tajweed is reading the word of Allah the way it should be read. It should not be read any other way.
And how do you know how it should be read?
So that's what Tajweed is. So if he's reciting in front of me, if my son is almost 5, if he's reciting in front of me and he made a mistake and I correct him, I said, hey, why are you correcting me? No, why is it this way or that way? I tell him, okay, that's how it should be. That's how the Prophet read it, his generation, next generations until this day. That's how it's supposed to be.
But how do you know that was the way?
That's the science of Tajweed. So that's the entire thing. So I think this is how they used to even practice the language at that time. But then when a lot of different tongues and different nationalities, the Islam started to go into different places, then people felt, okay, it's not going to be for everyone. A lot of people now eating off some letters and pronounce it incorrectly, then started this to be like in a scientific way, books and
because that was kind of what I was aiming at. Like it was not standardized from like the beginning, right? From the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was not from there that they standardized and made the rules. I think it was more of a natural way of knowing, and the way they passed it through others was just by recitation and listening.
Yes.
But the standardization that for example you have taught us now, or that is being taught now, that is something that came later, right?
Yes. It's important, huh?
And it's important, definitely. But it was there because originally people were new. Like probably reciting without Tajweed was not known.
That's the way that you that's the way that you practice the language, and that's the way how you recite the Quran. That's the way that how they heard from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then generation by generation. And we owe them, the people who made the science of Tajweed, we owe them a lot, because they saved the way how the Quran should be recited for Allah alam how many years to come. And you see that in people who don't even know the language, people like if you see him, you
amazing,
never you never expect. Like I was watching some competition, and the guys from somewhere in Middle Africa, he doesn't know, he doesn't even speak the language, but when he recites perfectly. It's the way as an Arabic and native speaker recites. So that's how important it is. That's also part of the Hifdh, that's the reservation. Because it's in the Quran, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun. So Allah is saying that Allah sent this dhikr, this book, this remembrance, and He's going to reserve it. Reservation is not only in the book itself, but also how it's recited, and the meanings and the tafsir. All of this is considered with the reservation.
So that's part of the miracle is also the tajweed that the correct pronunciation we pass on.
Yes, 1400 years, even more, 1444 now.
By the letter.
No. For everyone. It doesn't matter. You're in China, you're in Brazil, you're Russia, whatever you are in the world. You want to recite the Quran, you have to go through this process, and you can be walking by, or you are in the mosque in China, and then you hear someone make a mistake. They say, hey,
everyone knows.
That's not good. I even have it here. Sometimes when we do Maghrib or something, and someone from a completely different background, nationality, even probably doesn't speak the language, but he knows this part. And they said, hey, I think you did it wrong. I say, hey, just give me 1 second. I look, and then I look. He's right. I don't know anything like that except with the Quran.
That type of preservation.
No, preservation. No.
So let's look at from a perspective of a child. He has to learn, right?
No.
But let's say you get a student, 20 years old, and he comes to you and he says, I can recite Al-Fatiha. I can recite some surah,
No.
some surah. I've understood that knowing Tajweed is not compulsory. So why should I read that or learn that?
Okay.
Is the bare minimum enough?
Yeah.
basically?
So yeah, that's a good question, because now we need to know what's compulsory and what's not.
right?
Right.
And what defines compulsory?
There is something called al-lahn.
Al-lahn.
Al-lahn, yes. So al-lahn is reciting wrong, just simply. So if you recite something wrong, we call that lahn. You mean you moved away from the correct way. You're not reciting correctly anymore. You made something. That's called lahn. That's a fault, a mistake.
Fault.
Okay.
Any mistake.
Yeah, so any mistake while you're reciting is called lahn. There are some mistakes that can be
Detrimental. Oh,
can be done.
right.
Understandable.
Mhm.
He doesn't know.
Mhm.
But there are some mistakes, if you make, you have to correct.
For example.
Yeah, for example, if you change a letter, pronunciation of the letter, let's
Yes.
take a word like asa.
Mhm.
Asa, ain, sin, alif.
Right.
If you say asa,
Mhm.
that's ain, sad, alif. That's asa and asa. The difference is really, really small.
Feels like it's in that last.
Probably if you're not a lot of listening to a lot of Arabic language, probably you don't even hear it.
Yeah.
Asa and asa,
Right.
completely different meaning. That means if you make this mistake while reciting, you completely change the sentence.
Mhm.
There's a lot of examples like that. So these mistakes you cannot make. So first you define compulsory. So this you need to know how to pronounce the letters. Because if you don't know, if you mess two letters, if you make a mistake in the letters, you can really mess up the entire thing.
So it's very important that you know how to recite every letter
Yes.
and that you're able to distinguish each letter from each other. by
Exactly.
pronunciation.
That's really important. And that's
Yes.
also the job of the teacher. So that's one thing. Huh? So that's the most important part. There's another part, also important. It's about the tashkil, fatha, dhamma, and kasra. You cannot mess this up as well, because that determines who's doing what in the sentence. I give you an example. It's even I give it in the course. في سورة الأنعام Allah says إنما يخشى الله من عباده العلماء. Okay, so this sentence says
Right.
that the people with knowledge are the people who fear Allah. The people with knowledge are the people who fear Allah. Okay, if I change one haraka, fatha, and I make it dhamma, the meaning will be Allah fears the people.
Oh wow.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
One,
That's if you change.
if I change Allah to Allahu, so إنما يخشى الله من عباده العلماء.
So that I think if someone is not native Arabic, it seems like, oh yeah, I just made a mistake.
Yes,
there,
but
it
if
completely
someone
changes the
exactly, but if someone is native Arabic, he will know.
Yeah.
If you make this mistake in while you pray, if someone in the speaking Arabic, he will say Astaghfirullah.
Astaghfirullah.
He will not even.
He will shout correct.
No,
shout.
he's not. He's not gonna shout.
He will
Of course-
correct you shouting.
Yeah, if of course it's a mistake, but he will. He cannot hear because it doesn't. It's counterintuitive.
Yes.
So that's what I mean. So you have the first thing is how to
Yes.
pronounce the words,
Yes.
the letters. The second is how to pronounce fatha, kasra, dhamma, tanween, and mad. This kind of things.
Mad.
Yeah, but there's difference kind of if you are only talking about mad حركتين أو أربعة أو ستة, like how long you make the mad. Some people don't do the mad at all. Like the mad wow, they make it dhamma.
So you're talking about, for the viewers, mad means elongation.
All elongation, yes.
Elongation, sorry.
Yes.
And for example, can you give an example of that?
Yeah, so if I say the word door in Arabic means bab. Bab, that's ba, alif, ba.
Yeah.
Ba, this elongation of fatha to alif. So bab, this elongation, this letter is called harf mad. It's called mad. The letter is mad. We have 3 main letters for mad. You can think about it like the vowels in English. O, I, U, E. So we have 3 alif, waw, ya. And then if you have this, there's some, you can, you need to go to this video but if you have this bab, you cannot say bab. So you cannot say this mad. You cannot make this mad go away because it doesn't make meaning. There is no meaning to the word anymore. So it has to be bab. You need to know how to pronounce the mad correctly. So you need to make at least the minimum amount of elongation that gives the meaning.
Right. So if you do not know that, then we have a problem because you can change meaning.
So these things they also teach it in one course called Al-Qaida Nuraniyya. I did not teach it before, but a lot of people now use it with the kids, and it's really, really good because it teaches this really, really main things: how to pronounce the letters, how to pronounce tanween, kasra, fatha, dhamma, and how to make the mad correctly. Okay, right, that's the main thing, and then comes to that's compulsory. If you don't know this, please don't recite by yourself. You have to recite in front of someone with knowledge, and then he's going to correct you. If you don't have time to do these the 3 main things.
I see.
There is another things like nice to have in Tajweed, which is that's actually the meaning of Tajweed, which is in the language tahsin, making something better.
So Tajweed means making something better.
Better, perfect, like perfecting something.
Right.
And this is the linguistic meaning of it, but the actual meaning is to recite the Quran the way it ought to be recited.
I see.
To really learn how generation after generation how the Quran was recited by the Prophet and how we should be recited. And we also commanded and encouraged to do that. This is one.
So you gave examples of tanween and pronounced the med, and everything. But can you give an example of making your recitation perfect? Or
so that's the compulsory part. So you were saying if I get asked what's gonna be compulsory or not, I say there's some compulsory and say some nice to have. Nice to have is forgivable if you don't know, but if you know, you're encouraged to do that because that means that it's like doing a sunnah. It's really nice to do. For example, the mad, the real mad that you do, for example, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So this what you do at the end is called mad, and if you know the rules, you can put this mad or this rule in action. That means that you're making the recitation even better. So if you don't know before, you need to learn, of course. But that does not, for example, considered as something that's compulsory that you don't do. That, for example.
Yes.
So everyone is reciting Surah Al-Fatiha. That's the compulsory part in your prayer, right?
Yes.
And you're doing that 17 times every day.
Yes.
So you should at least know this. There is not a lot of tajweed tricks like in Surah Al-Fatiha. There is not a lot of ghunna or something that's really completely. But
the Fatiha needs to be.
Because you do it 17 times a day.
Yeah.
So you need at least to know.
Is that something you do? You check the Fatiha of people, like you say.
Of course. So if I have a student or someone who comes and he wants to learn, the first thing that I do is say, hey, let's start with the Fatiha. Because if you don't know the Fatiha and you know the entire book, this is the one that you're doing a compulsory in your prayers every day. So that's really important. So even if you're not going to do any courses, if you're not going to do this, if you're not going to perfect, say, hey, I want to have the bare minimum. And the bare minimum is to know how to recite the Fatiha correctly. And I think this is what we start with you back in the day.
Yes,
If
and
you
we,
remember.
it took like half an hour.
Yeah. And you say,
You were like this. So I knew, I was sitting there, I'm making mistakes, I know it.
Yeah.
But you brought it very nicely and very encouraging.
Yeah.
And you explained everything really well, but I knew that I was making some mistakes.
Yeah, but this is your experience. It's not intentional from your side, right?
No,
that's what I'm trying to say. This is a lot to learn.
Right.
There is a lot to learn,
Mm-hmm.
and I am actually not in any position to judge anyone, because I am an Arab. Like, I used to speak the language for years. I used to study for years. So who am I to come to someone who doesn't know the language and then judge him? So I'm not judging.
No, that was not, by the way, not what I was saying.
Yeah.
But I was like, you think you know, right? And then, okay, fine, Fatiha, do that all the time. You start reciting, and then you see the amount of mistakes you make. It's can be quite confronting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you brought a book with you, I see.
Naam. So that's basically what I said is the first few pages of this book.
Right.
And it's about Sheikh Dr. Ayman Rushdi Suwaid.
Mm-hmm.
So he is one of the highest asanid, one of the highest people with ijaza on earth, mashallah.
What do you mean with highest?
Closest to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the number of people from the Prophet to him.
Mm-hmm.
So he is one of
someone who has ijaza.
Yes, but he is really knowledgeable. I think he has a PhD in the qira'at.
But just so you know which persons were between him.
Yeah, that's even in his book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Every name.
Yeah. So let me read you an interesting part, because I like this part a lot. Yeah. He's saying about his ijaza.
Mm-hmm.
It's not his word, but he says there's
Are you translating on the go now?
No,
or?
there's also translated to English. That's why
nice.
I brought it with me.
Right.
I will read you and then we talk about it. So he said, the late Sheikh Abdul Aziz Ayun al-Sud, rahimahullah ta'ala. This is his Sheikh. Huh? He used to say, when he mentioned this chain of reference, the chain to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to say, this is the most honorable chain of reference in the world, whose rank is the highest unanimously. Sorry.
Yeah.
For such one travels to the Levant and to Yemen. So for such chain, one should travel to Sham
To
and the
Yemen.
Yemen. So one should go all around the globe
High rank.
just to get this chain. Huh?
Right, yes.
Yeah. Though it has reached us fresh and for free. So he's saying this is a big honor for him. This is the highest chain that you can get, because the chain is directly, this is the word of God. Huh? So that's the word of Allah to the Prophet, and then you have a direct chain
to you.
to you. That's how he views this chain. That's how he holds really dear to it.
It is a sense of pride and a sense of honor.
Of course. And then he has the chain. How many people? 28 people. He has the name of them. And when did every one of them die? So he has the name.
All documented.
All documented. This is his isnad. This is his ijaza. So whoever gave him this, Abdul Aziz Ayun al-Sud, Sheikh Abdul Aziz Ayun al-Sud,
Yeah.
and he died in 1399. That is 45 years ago. He died at that time, and then he gave it to Ayman Rushdi Suwaid.
Sorry, when did he die, did you say? What year?
1399 Hijri, huh?
All right.
That's 45 years ago.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I just threw you 500 years.
Very Western,
it's a Hijri.
Yeah.
So basically, this book is really nice. This the first edition is 2021.
I see.
Interestingly enough, this is how I prepare the lessons. All my life, I've been listening to Sheikh Ayman, Dr. Ayman. He's, mashallah, is really knowledgeable person. And when I come here, I said, hey, I have a little bit of an English language in me, so let me translate whatever he's saying.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
That was 2020. 2021, the book came in English. So
This is after the whole translation thing.
yes, this is illustrated tajweed, tajweed
Okay,
musawwar.
okay.
So
Yeah.
what I did is I tried to do it in a video where I really documented. Jazakallah khair.
Yes, alhamdulillah, very good.
Barakallah feek.
Moroccan tea for the Salaam followers. We always have the discussion about what tea is better.
Yeah,
You like the tea?
yeah, nice, mashallah.
You don't like tea?
No, I like it because I don't drink a lot of tea, so I'm not like an experience. There's people have a lot of fights for this. I don't.
For now, it's Moroccan. And
Yeah.
Moroccan tea wins for this podcast. So
Yeah,
you were saying...
I was saying in 2020 that's where I find there is some way to actually translate this and to give to people who don't speak the language.
Yeah, because I saw you would say the Arabic word and then you would try to give the exact translation.
Yes, exactly.
So for example, for qalqala, you said
Turbulence.
turbulence.
Yes, but I said that's my translation.
So what do they use for qalqala? Do you
Let's
know?
see.
Let's see. I like the turbulence because it describes also the...
This is my translation, and
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
like a native English.
And I'll no one to
person.
judge whether the translation is correct, but I liked it.
I know. For example, the tone. I used to say tone for gunna.
Mhm.
Now they say nasalization something.
Nasalized, yes, because it comes from the nose, so they say
It
it's
comes
like a
from the
nasal
nose,
sound.
exactly. So I used to
Yes.
say a tone because I make a tone with my nose,
Mhm.
and here they have it differently. So I will find qalqala for you,
Yeah.
man.
So it's quite I see nice illustrations as well on
Yeah,
the
that's
pronunciation.
yeah, and also one brother just told me today that there is a Dutch one for it as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Because
He
those
illustrate-
illustrations, they really help
illustrate
because people are like,
something.
they say, toh, toh, and you're like, okay, but how the tongue and everything. And it's nice to see that the
Yeah,
cross
so
section,
that's-
right? So you
I
know
think-
exactly where to place the...
yeah. I think it's a really nice book. I'm now trying to find this
You're panicking now, eh?
thing. No, I want to find it. It's somewhere. Al-Mad, okay, that's another one. Azminatul Mudud. Yeah. It's a good also. Yeah, تحدث عند القلقلة.
Nice. What do they say?
Jesus write قلقلة. QALA. قلقلة.
That's right.
Yeah, but
Oh,
they
he
don't have
translated it that way.
Yeah, so
Oh.
there is no translation for it.
Okay. Maybe contact the authors.
Yeah. He said mistakes that occur while performing qalqala. He just do it like that. There is no.
There's no performing turbulence.
Yeah. So that's I made. So that's actually one of the disclaimers that I gave
Mhm.
when we first started the course. Huh?
Yeah.
And by the way, the course on this channel. It's
Oh
the
yeah, by the way,
playlist
yes,
on this
the course is
channel.
on this channel,
Yeah.
Medina Arabic as well, and inshallah, maybe in a while we will start again another series. But it's online, and the slides they're amazing. So if you want to,
No. So I will need to talk a little bit about what's the book and what the book is related to the course that we have.
I see. Yeah. Go.
So as I said, the book comes after the whatever we try to do. We try to do this translation.
Mhm.
May Allah forgive me if there is something wrong there, but I just tried as
Ameen.
much as I can to
Yeah.
get whatever he's saying from his, because he doesn't speak English,
Mhm.
from his. So that's all in video. So it's not like something from my memory. So it was in video. He's trying to explain, and I try to take notes,
Mhm.
and I try to put it in some sort of slides in English.
Mhm.
After that, this book in 2021, this book came out. But there is more in this book than what I taught in this lessons, because I gave the assumption that whoever is coming to this lesson only knows how to read. So he knows how to read the letters. If there is an Arabic text,
Mhm. Yeah.
he at least knows how to read.
Yeah.
Then the rules comes in.
Mhm.
The rules come in. But here he also have the part where you should know where to get out the letter from your mouth. It's called makharij al-huruf. So
see.
that has the book has more. than we discussed. I advise anyone to have there is an English translation for it. It's like €40 thing. It used to be much cheaper 2 years ago, but now it's I don't know
Inflation
why
and
it's that
everything.
expensive. Yeah, you can even have one in a group of friends and then they just rotate it.
Yeah.
There's also Dutch
Yes.
translation for it. That's really nice because
Yeah.
that it wasn't. I did not find that when I first came. That's why I went through this translating this
Yeah.
by myself and put it in a slide. And
To me, it's still like amazing. Like we're saying, okay, we were talking about being a compulsory or not, but seriously, like this is so real. Like this is the pride we should have for the tajweed, the preservation, and reciting it, trying to recite it correctly by every letter. And no matter where you are on this planet, if you are reciting, it doesn't matter if you speak the language or not. People can recognize if you're correct or not, and they can correct you. And that there's just this harmony and this I don't know how to put it, like elegance or this uniformity about the way we recite the Quran. It's to me it's still amazing, and that's I think in such a way you sold it to me, and that was for me. It was like okay, we need to know this.
yeah,
It's amazing. And now that Ramadan is coming,
no,
I mean we heard, I think a few hours ago,
no, tomorrow.
that
Inshallah.
it's not today. If it was today, this episode wouldn't be happening.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's tomorrow, and
That's a very risky.
that was risky business.
Yeah.
Risky business. We just meet there at that time. Then of course you have the tarawih.
No, with a ta.
Tarawih.
See?
I'm butchering pronunciation now. Oh man, that sucks. Tarawih.
No, it's good.
Yeah, I would just say the English term, night prayer.
Yeah. When someone says night prayer, I don't. I tell them no.
Somebody asked me, what's the difference between tahajjud and tarawih?
Okay.
Am I saying it right now?
That's the tahajjud is good, tarawih is good. Yes.
Okay.
But then
I
what?
pass.
This is the question. What is the difference between tahajjud
Yeah, so
and tarawih?
I told him, I said, I don't know.
Okay.
But I thought tarawih is a specific instance of tahajjud.
Yeah. So they both called qiyamul layl.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you pray after Isha and before Fajr.
Mm-hmm.
So they both come in this time period after Isha
Yeah.
and before Fajr. Taraweeh is more directly after Isha. Tahajjud is more later in the night. So after the midnight, it's some people, at least what we do here, is mostly in the last 10 nights where things get close to Laylatul Qadr. We start to do even more than Taraweeh. So we also do Tahajjud, which is even more prayers after midnight. That's how they call it. But both are Sunnah and both are considered Qiyamul Layl.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But alhamdulillah, even though it's sunnah, I see in Ramadan the masjid is packed.
a lot of people, alhamdulillah, do it now.
And then you have, to me, it sounds daunting
Yeah?
that you as the imam have to stand in front of all those people.
Yeah.
And you have to recite the whole book by heart. After you had the samosas for iftar.
Yeah, if you want to do good, you don't do a lot of samosas, right? Because that is gonna be
Good
more
advice to me.
more. So I actually don't do the whole book, not until now. Mashallah, the mosque that we have here, there is already an imam there. I'm just in a helping position whenever he's not there.
Yes.
I just get in and help.
But if I'm understanding correct, you occasionally people go and do 2 or 3 rak'ah,
What do you mean?
like you do some tarawih as well.
Yeah, so Taraweeh is a little bit more what do you call it? So Taraweeh is over the 30 days. So whoever is leading there, he needs to be really prepared. In Tahajjud, that's just in our mosque. There's a lot of, mashallah, young people who can recite.
Yes.
And who are memorizing different parts. So we do this like helping each other. Everyone takes 2 rak'ah, this kind of things.
But it's funny because you told me that you are also traveling to other masjids.
Naam,
masajid,
so
other mosques to lead the prayer there. So is there like a shortage in some cities, or how does that work?
yeah, so there is some. This is what I get. I don't know the entire Netherlands. I just get this. There's some cities who need people that have this knowledge, and if you have, and there is a shortage somewhere else, you feel the obligation to help, huh? But it's just what you call it. It's a tawfiq. So tawfiq is Allah puts you in a place that you need to look at it as a blessing. It's not you.
You were put there, and you're gonna do that. And
Exactly, and this is something that I feel really, really like strong feeling about, because a lot of people, when they are in this situation, not only with the Quran, anywhere, any part, any status that you are in life, you feel like you own it. You feel like I did this so that I am in this position. You feel like I studied so hard, that's why I'm here right now.
The moment I have that feeling, dunya, akhirah, deen, dunya, doesn't matter, stuff starts to go wrong.
Because that's not true.
Huh?
That's not true.
That's
actually.
what I mean.
It's you're telling yourself that, but you're actually blessed.
No,
So,
what I'm saying is, whenever I feel like something I have achieved is because of me,
Exactly.
something goes wrong to show me that, hey, you're
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you were
yeah.
put in a position. You think you're smart for doing something, or you
Exactly.
achieve something,
Yeah.
and then the moment that bit of pride comes, alhamdulillah, something happens. To
That's
me
good. Because
that-
this you remember, huh? وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. Whatever blessing you are in, even waking up in the morning,
Yeah.
is from Allah.
yeah.
So whoever position we are in, so I'm not any of these things. I'm not bragging. I'm even hoping that even me moving from another country to here just to fill this gap, if there is a gap, just fill this gap and give advice to people who need advice, do my best for it, but never claim that just because of me or because of the effort I made, or this kind of things is really, really dangerous, because that will detrimentally remove your reward, because you do it for people, and then you get praise from people. That's it. This is a hadith for it. I'll get you the translation, because that's really to the point.
It's about the showing off.
It's about
I think I know the Arabic word, but I'm not going to say it because I've been pronouncing words very incorrectly now. But the word for showing off, الرياء.
الرياء.
Somebody asked me about that as well. Like, when you are an imam, does that feeling come to you?
That feeling comes. That shaitan.
You feel.
So that's the shaitan there. So إن الشيطان لكم عدو فاتخذوه عدوا. The shaitan is an enemy. Please take it as an enemy.
Yeah.
So the shaitan is there, is waiting for you to fall. It's really, really tricky.
So give us the juicy details. You're standing in front, you're reciting, something comes up to you like, oh, I'm doing so well or something. Or how
I try to I try to.
You found it?
Yeah, it's really this. Yeah, so Hadith Umar ibn al-Khattab, huh? Because I'm not a native speaker in English, so I get the translation. So
Sure,
that's Riyadh al-Salihin, the first hadith.
Right.
باب الإخلاص وإحضار النية. Sincerity and significance of intention on all actions. Okay?
Say that again.
The sincerity and significance of intentions and all actions, apparent and hidden. That's
Okay.
the name of the chapter.
Okay.
The hadith, Umar ibn Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the Messenger of Allah said, the deeds are considered by the intentions. The deeds are considered by the intentions. And a person will get the reward according to his intention. According to?
The intention.
You don't care how, even if you are fighting, if you are donating $1 million,
Doesn't matter.
what's the intention? So
And
that's
you
how
will-
the deed is going to be counted. See, that's really important. Huh?
So that's a scary thing.
Exactly. That's you're getting there. And a person will get the reward according to his intention. So, whoever immigrated for Allah and His Messenger, his immigration will be for Allah and His Messenger. And whoever immigrated, that's the same action. Both immigrated. And whoever immigrated for worldly benefits or for a woman to marry, for example, his immigration would be for what he immigrated for. Take that and put it in any action that you do in life.
Yeah.
If you are doing this to show off,
But how would you know?
Sorry?
Sometimes I wonder, how do you know if you're doing something and then there's this battle, right?
Yeah.
Am I doing this to show off?
Yeah.
Or at the other hand, you're saying, right, I'm put in this position, so I have to do it. I'm obliged to do this.
Exactly.
So it feels like this.
I think the shaitan plays a lot of games there, in mind games. Like sometimes people stop even because they're too afraid.
But that's also not a good thing.
Exactly.
Right?
So you need to really find. I don't claim that's also for me. Huh? I don't claim that I'm above this. Huh? I that's also for me. I'm a human being.
Yeah.
I get these things. But then I say, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim."
And then you just
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And then that's because that thought will even if so you need to be prepared because you don't need to fall in any of these two extremes. You need to completely stop. That's one extreme. It's not good because you need to fill the gap.
yes.
But the other side, you don't need your heart to go for the eyes of people. Okay, why am I doing this? Because I want people to say this about me.
So do you have something practical you try to implement yourself to make that balance? Is there something you know what I
for
mean?
me, for me, sometimes I say, okay, if you really have this good intention, just do something in the what do you call it? Do something in the shadows. Do something that nobody looks at.
Looks at, but
Then when you do that, you say that's just for yourself. That I'm not doing that just for people. I'm not talking only about reciting. Huh? I'm talking in general.
Yeah.
In general, people who go out and, for example, promote donations for charity, for example. They can say that, and people say, "Hey, this guy is helping a lot of poor people, for example, or people in need. He's really a nice guy." Is he doing it just for this, or is he doing it just for?
Or he was doing it with the right intention, but then after the praise.
Exactly. So yeah. You need these things is sneaking to your heart.
Yeah.
It's sneaky.
It's.
So you have to. يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. So the day of judgment, nothing is going to help you. Not your kids, not your money, nothing, except your pure heart. إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. So that's the thing. You need these things gets to your heart and then gets hold of you, and then everything falls apart after that.
So anything I do, I need to make sure that my intention is in the right place.
Yes.
So
as much as you can.
So let's say before we would start recording this podcast, we make sure that in our heart we feel, because you don't have to vocalize it, right, or say anything. It's just your inner state.
The intention is not.
It's not.
Of course, it's being translated to your actions. Huh? So the intention comes when something with a problem happen. For example, it's something that I never heard before when I was in Egypt. People really, there's some people that gets to the point that they really end their own life. This is something that I learned here. Like some people do that.
You mean the concept?
Someone, the concept of someone getting to a point that he ends his life.
Yes, that was.
I can imagine. I of course I know, but I never find one example because most of the people are religious, and whoever is religious knows that there is a day of judgment and there is afterlife, and then I'm not going to ruin my afterlife by an action that I do in this life, even if my life is not good.
Never thought about that. Yeah. So it's something will find here, but not there.
Yeah, it's not heard of. It's really, really rare. And you see it in the news. If someone did that, you see it in the news. But then if I think about it, that means that this person tried to do a lot of things, tried to attempt to do a lot of things, but he just fails. And the meaning of failure here, for example, I try to study and then I fail. Or I try to do an action and then I'm in a marriage and then nothing works out. the intentions is really important, because if I'm in this situation just to get the acceptance from people, and then people don't give me this acceptance, then I failed. But if the intention is different, if I'm in these situations just to make Allah pleased with me, this is a good thing to do, no matter how. For example, if I give charity to a person and this person doesn't appreciate it, if I'm making it just for the person, for the appreciation of that person, and he didn't, that's failure for me.
Yeah.
Then I am really depressed, because I gave all this charity, all this effort, all this money, but I get nothing back.
Nothing back, yeah.
But if the reward is in Allah's hand, if I'm doing that just for the sake of Allah, even if people did not recognize what I'm doing, even if this guy is not appreciating my donations or whatever, I don't care.
You don't care.
So that's where the intention come in hand. So that's where the intention come. Practically, you see. For example, if someone did something that is not, and there's some feedback from someone that doesn't help, sometimes you get really frustrated. Someone gives a lecture or something,
Right.
and people ignore his entire effort, and then they make one part and then they make fun of him or something. So if he's giving the lecture just for the people, he failed.
Yeah.
But if he's giving the lecture, and I know that you probably I see you're smiling.
What?
So if he's like giving the lecture, and then the intention is to educate people, that's a good thing to do.
Yes.
I know that Allah knows this. That's deep in my heart. This is my intention. Nothing
Yes.
more.
Yes.
Even if he gets rejected,
Yeah.
he's fine.
Yeah.
That's how important it is.
Yeah.
I drifted off, but it's really, really important topic.
Yeah, definitely. It's. If you talk about intention, I think that there can be huge lectures given about just that subject, right? The intention.
That's why
and
it's
how
the
to
first.
purify it.
That's why it's the first hadith, because this based everything. That's why the first hadith in Riyadh al-Salihin. If you open this and you hadith number 1 in this chapter, this Bab al-Ikhlas, the significance of how the intention is going. That's the first one.
Yeah.
إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. They used to, when I was young, they used to tell us everything that you do, even sleep. Even sleep.
So I have to set intention before I go to bed.
Because this time can be in your hasanat. That can be a good deed. That can be a good deed.
So if you're smart,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
You play everything in the
there is an
game.
ayah. There is an ayah that says, "قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين." So my prayers. I get you the translation. Sorry. There's a lot of English translation.
I think you can translate on the
Yeah, they say. No,
You
please.
can.
So truly, this is a translation. This is Surah Al-An'am, ayah 162. Truly, my prayer and my service of sacrifice, my life and my death are all for Allah, the cherisher of the worlds. So, everything. My prayer, not only my prayer. Because
Everything.
if you think about it, like, okay, what do you do as a good deed? I go pray,
Yeah.
I give charity,
Yeah.
that's it. No. The entire life, my life, the entire life. If you go to work, if you work out, if you study,
All intention. Sleep.
even play. So
Video
before
games.
for example, before we play video game, I don't know where to get the intention from, but probably to switch off and
Relax so I can focus on my prayer.
That's for praying. That's for sleeping even. So
Yeah.
we used to play football,
Yeah.
and then there is the two teams, and then the teacher or whoever the older person who's doing that for the kids. I was one of the kids, and then he brings people together and said, "Hey, clear your intentions." Because whatever you're doing right now, it's a sport. It makes you healthy. It makes you connect with others. Have these intentions in your heart.
Yes.
Then the same player who plays football, one has a reward because he has this intention, and the other doesn't, because the others just want here to smash someone or something.
Yes.
That also translated into the behavior of us as kids. We used to cheat, for example, if the ball is out, and then I say, "Hey, it touched him, not me," so I get the out, so we get the goal. So even this changed it, because okay, what's my intention now? Is my intention only winning, or the intention is to be good?
To be good.
I'm not gonna do something bad while doing that, right? So that everything in your life, if you're smart, this hadith is really important.
So Ramadan is coming.
Yes.
Let's set our intentions.
Naam.
Inshallah. One question I got from someone, because I said I'm gonna speak to someone who leads the prayer, the night prayer as well. He said, how do you make sure your memorization doesn't fade away? Because I think a lot of people can relate, but also personally, you memorize a page or a few pages, you think you know it. A few months later, maybe a few weeks later, you go over it again and it's drops off. Now imagine knowing a significant portion of the book.
Naam.
Let's keep it practical. What is something that you do? For example, you know Ramadan is coming and you have to stand there and you have to lead the prayer. So what do you do to ensure that everything?
Of course, this happened to everyone. They have this what do you call it? They compare it to a horse that's not tied to a tree.
It walks away.
Exactly. That's what that's exactly. Say the verb is يتفلت. يتفلت is like exactly like a horse that's not tied to something, and then you leave it outside.
I heard also something about it's easy to learn, but also easy to forget.
Yeah. So that's how even precious it is.
Yes.
When you have something really precious, you cannot leave your eyes out.
And the guilt you have once you have memorized and you start to forget it, that's like this guilt feeling that comes
so
up,
I think you just need to keep memorizing yourself. Memorize, read it again. Make a schedule. We have a schedule for everything in life. Why not schedule for the Quran?
Yeah, that's something I heard a lot as well. Like make a schedule, make a planning, and then go over it, and make sure you
so
stick to
if you're really memorizing, you can get, I think you can get up to 1/30th of the Quran, so like 20 pages. You can get that in 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
Oh, you mean as a rehearsal?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So
yes. Yeah, I'm a bit jealous about some people who say like, 1 page a day and stuff. I'm like, wow, that's heavy, 1 page a day. But there are people, Allah Mabarak, who can do that in memorization.
There's a lot of things that you can do. One of it is give up anything else that you listen to. Just make this your life. Think about anyone that is doing something for sport, or anyone that if he makes something, if he makes his life centered about something, he's going to be perfect in it.
There are so many distractions.
I know,
that's
but
the problem.
you have to
you
find
always
some
set
time
the intention, at least not you, but I mean like I, or generally.
Of course, me
you
as well.
set an intention, and then, for example, something, right? Okay, I don't know what the correct opinion is, but I was raised with this opinion that if you touch the Quran, you need to have wudu.
Okay.
So I don't know what to, go check it out for yourself what the what the right thing is. So I thought, okay, let's not go search for gray areas. I'm just gonna use my phone. To do hifdh. And then for some reason, either a notification pops up, or you swipe away, and then you're out of the vibe, out of the zone. So, and a lot of people I know, they tell me like you need to sit have a special corner where you sit, where you recite, where you revise, have a book, not your phone. But it's difficult. But yeah, you're right.
You need not to make it difficult. So whoever told you that probably is good. Yeah, of course it's better.
Yes.
So if I'm for example memorizing or repeating, I very much would like to have the book in my hand, because I can even know the ayah it's in left or right page, and that helps a lot. So the phone doesn't have a left or right? The phone mostly is like all after each other.
No. It's pages.
Yeah, but is it like, do you know left or right?
Oh yes, okay.
So in your mind, if you have a lot in your mind, like if you have like, say you have 60 pages, sometimes you memorize ayah just because of the position. Sometimes you say, okay, this surah has this ayah, at the beginning of the page.
Yes.
So that, of course, it's good to have, but you don't need to, like if you're in a train, if you're somewhere, you can still do that. There's a lot of people spend many times in hours even in train transportation. They don't do nothing. You just on social media, just turn off Wi-Fi and
turn off the internet.
Yeah.
Any practical tips for people for the coming Ramadan?
To do what? To do Tajweed?
Tajweed, memorization.
No.
Better connection with the Quran.
No.
We have set our intentions, but we also need to find
Yeah, so there's one.
I mean,
important-
like in the context of students, right? You have, of course, the night prayer. You have iftar, and then you have your school day, of course. And
no.
you know, we need to find places in our schedule, or make place in our schedule.
Yeah.
We're tired. What is a good thing we can uphold for a month? You know.
Yeah, so Ramadan is really, really important because that's the month of Quran. Everyone, even who doesn't recite the Quran the entire year, does that in Ramadan, which is not good practice. But you should do it all over.
Yes.
Even myself, I recite the Quran more than I do in a regular basis. There is one really good advice, which is make dua. You should not look at it as something extra. Make dua, pray that you be guided.
I like that the way you said that. Don't think of it as something.
That's not a trivial
extra.
thing. That's not a trivial. That's the main thing.
See it as a.
So basically, every good deed that you do, we touched upon that at a certain point, is a blessing or tawfiq, we say, a guidance from Allah. A lot of people in the same position, at the same time, don't get the guidance to do that. So every good deed, we say hidayah. This is something that Allah guides you to. So
even the fact that you're thinking about, I need to read more Quran is hidayah by itself.
Exactly. And you need to put that in practice, you need to have this guidance. There are some people that are awake until Fajr. Adhan al-Fajr is there, the Adhan is there, but they don't get up and pray. And there are some people that were asleep, just get up to pray.
Yeah. The difference.
That's hidayah, right?
Yeah.
So you make dua. Don't make this is not a trivial thing.
I see.
You make dua that Allah, please help me. Help me.
Yes.
To be closer to you. Help me to be closer to your book. That's important. Because after that, there are people that waste 5-6 hours a day on social media or this kind of things. To shut it off for 1 hour and then be closer to the book of Allah, to the Quran, that's hidayah. That's something that you need. You really need that.
It's not something you choose to do. It's something Allah puts in that position.
If you choose to do that, that's the hidayah that you need. That's why you need to pray for it. Pray that you every day
that you get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's really important.
Yeah.
Intentions, and you pray. Make someone, even if someone is listening to this and he's a parent or a brother of someone that doesn't have this, he really wants his brother to be his brother to go, for example, to the mosque or do something good. Pray for him. That's not a trivial thing.
Best thing you can do.
That's the first thing that you think of, because the hidayah, the guidance, starts from Allah. He gives you the guidance, then you do things.
Then the rest happens.
Nah. So that's the first thing that you should do. Intention, hidayah. Then we talk about practical stuff like see how many how many hours you have every day.
But that's also guidance you will get.
Exactly.
You will start to get an understanding on what works for you. And
So it's of course it's different. For example, now I work in a different city. Sometimes I drive for 1 hour. This hour I use, for example, I know that I have an empty hour at that time that I can memorize. I can even open something. A sheikh who is reading, I can stop, I can memorize, and then I can do. That works for me. For another person, he's in a train, he should do it differently.
Do you also have you also experienced where at moments in your life where you focus more on, for example, the Quran or something else religion related, that other affairs in your life get better as well?
What do you mean by other affairs?
Like you're worried about something, and I mean, like maybe you have a test or anything, or some financial situation and everything, and then you start to practice more. You start to make more dua, and then stuff just falls in place.
Yes. You know what?
Yeah.
that's actually every time that you come closer, because you become less anxious.
That's,
When you become less anxious, because you look at life as it is. When you are in ghafla, we say, when you are not close to Allah, you think about life from a material perspective. If I didn't get the exam, I'm going to fail. This puts a big pressure.
Yeah.
If you study the same studying, but you have in your mind that you do this for this intention, but whatever happens, that's not the end. It's just a test. Huh?
Yeah.
Whatever 70, 80 years I'm here, I'm doing a test, I'm doing my best. If it happens, there's one hadith and Anas, I'll give you this one. I know we made a long I even had a friend who had a problem with something in his job, and I gave him this hadith because this is also a reminder for myself. So that's also Kitab al-Muqaddimat. That's also Riyadh al-Salihin.
Mm-hmm.
This hadith is hadith Sahihun Hasan from At-Tirmidhi. Okay, so that's the ranking of the hadith. That's hadith Riyadh al-Salihin 62. Bab al-Muraqabah, watchfulness. That's the name of the chapter. Watchfulness. Okay. I recite you. So Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him. I will tell you what the hadith is saying, because it falls in what we are talking about.
Okay.
One day I was riding behind the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, "Oh boy, I will instruct you in some matters." That's instruction from the Prophet ﷺ.
Like literally, oh boy, I will instruct you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Be watchful of Allah, the commandments of Allah. He will preserve you.
Mm-hmm.
Safeguard His rights.
Okay.
Safeguard His rights.
Yes.
He will be ever with you.
Okay.
If you beg of Him alone. And if you need assistance, supplicate to Allah alone for help. And this is the part that I was talking to you about. And remember that if all people gather to benefit you, they will not be able to benefit you except that which Allah has foreordained for you. Like Allah planned this for you. If anyone is going to benefit you, it's not going to happen except Allah make it happen for you.
Not your
and
friends,
the other side,
not the CEO, no one.
Nobody. And if all of them gather, the same people, all of them gather to do harm to you, they will not be able to afflict you with anything other than to which Allah had predestined against you. And then he said, the pens have been lifted and the ink had dried up. That's the end. That's.
So if you internalize that narration, then like you said, you take life as it is.
Yeah, you're less anxious about stuff. Huh?
Whatever situation you're in, this is where you're at. There's no ifs and what else. Here you are.
Yes.
And it's written for you.
Yeah.
And you just sit it out. You do what you have to do. You make sure that you...
But that doesn't welcome any kind of sitting back and doing nothing. Huh?
Right. No.
You're doing whatever you want to do, but you're just less anxious. Whatever's going to happen, that's Allah planned.
Allah planned, yeah.
If I'm going to fail this, I'm going to fail this. I just did my best.
Yes.
You become very less anxious. Then you look about things from a different perspective. Then whatever is going to... Because what's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? That's why when you be closer to Allah, to be closer to religion, you find yourself in a very, very peaceful place. You're not anxious anymore.
Yeah. I needed that advice. Yes.
Me as well.
Yeah. Like sometimes I stress crazy about stuff that is not even important. Like for some reason I find something to stress about, and it's often like work related or studies related. You really want to do your best and you want to do good work, and then you're starting to stress about purely materialistic, of course, wanting to do good at something, be good at something. And then I just try to take a step back and focus more on deen. And then I see like I'm starting to accept the situation what I'm in, and whatever goes right, that was written. Whatever goes wrong is written. But at the end, Allah will preserve me.
Yeah. It's not easy, huh? It's not easy. All
I'm
the
saying
time.
it like it's easy, but it's
not. Yeah. In some situations, you really want something to happen the way you want it to happen.
Yeah.
It's so
I can
hard.
imagine, for example, and I'm starting to realize that more as I speak to more people, the state people are in when they, for example, like you, they move countries, go from Egypt to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I can imagine that at that moment, you needed that advice, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because you're like, I'm going into this new country. I know no one.
Yeah.
I'm going to start this job. I don't know if you had a house or anything,
No.
and then
You need to look for everything.
Yes.
Yeah. This if you don't have this, you become that only weakens you. So this anxiety,
Yeah.
we call,
It's weekend.
that's just weakening.
Yes.
That's just not able
Yes.
be able to sleep, not be able to think clearly. This kind of things.
It drives you, but it drives you in a very short-term and flimsy way, right? Sometimes fear, like a deadline, fear, anxiety. I need to get that.
But it also
Doesn't
drives
sustain you
to
for weeks.
wrong decisions, huh?
Yeah,
Most of the time it does. If you have anxiety, you take a wrong decision, so it's not helpful.
turns out that's a very popular topic: anxiety, mental health, whatever. We have one podcast on Islamic psychology as well. It's one of our most viewed videos, and I see a lot of organizations starting to give awareness about that. So apparently, it's very relevant. But yeah, Allah will preserve us.
Yeah, of course. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
Yes.
Let's have faith.
Easier said than done, though.
Of course, because we are both here. We're drinking chai.
Sitting,
Yeah,
alhamdulillah, relaxing.
yeah.
Want to grab a sweet, but I don't want to, make noise eating noises in the microphone. I've been considering all the time. Every time you see me do this, I'm considering to take a piece.
Okay.
Yes, but I will save. I have this thing where when people make noises when they eat, it annoys me. You have that too? I think there's a name for it. I think it's called something like basophonia or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But like when people make a lot of noise when they eat, oh man, you don't have that?
I don't hear it. I don't know. Probably I will hear some at some point, and then I know. But I never hear some.
I'm just hyper aware of that fact.
You have a sensitive ear.
Oh no, not that. My mom says the opposite.
Oh, okay.
Should I call you? You're busy. Yeah.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. So, like I said, right? I wanted to basically make a bridge to that topic as well.
Yeah.
How you experienced your let's say your integration to here, because like I said, right, you came from Egypt, Islamic country, people speak Arabic. You make the decision to come here, and then you're of course anxious, I guess. And tell me how do you experience something like that? Because we as a student association, we see people like that all the time.
Yeah.
And we as national students, people who are born and raised here, we look at their country like in a totally different way than you guys see it.
Of course.
And we also don't know like what is something you guys want or like what is their need.
Yeah.
For example, I saw that like a biking event is very popular. But to us, it's like biking. We've done that for the last 10 years of our lives, and biking is like a chore, But at the other hand, when the people come from other countries, they love to bike through the city.
Yeah.
And that is a perspective we need.
Yeah.
So hence my request for perspectives.
Yeah. So it's I think I'm alhamdulillah privileged.
Mhm.
Privileged.
Privileged.
I'm privileged.
Yeah,
Let's
you get very aware of pronunciation when there's when there are like two lights, four
Yeah.
cameras, and two microphones.
I try to put it privileged.
Privileged.
Because I didn't come like to nowhere. So I come with a work contract.
And it was pre-COVID.
Yeah, that was 2 months before COVID. So my family did not come with me. They come 3 weeks later, and then I think 2-3 weeks after they come, everything closed down. I think they come the day that there started to be, I don't know if you remember, there was a map, and then whatever have an infection, there is a red dot in some countries.
Yes.
And then it started to happen in Italy. I think that's the first country in Europe.
There. Yeah, I was there.
You were in Italy.
I was in Milan, and then they called it the China virus, right? Was there.
Yeah.
And it's okay, China. And then the news came, and we got scared because no one really knew what it was, right? You just know it's a virus, and it's from China. Apparently.
It's there. It was there like from December 2020,
it was,
right? 2019.
No, it was February 2020.
Yeah, but it was in China from December 2019.
Apparently.
That's why it's called COVID-19. It was there, but I was like watching China. You think it's not gonna come, huh?
Yeah,
it's all the way over there. We're fine here.
So we're in Milan. We're in the hotel.
Yeah.
We heard everybody speak on the news. I get stressed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I have a virus. I don't know what it is. We take the car. We say, okay, well, let's go to Venice. Drive away from the virus.
Okay.
Next day, Venice. News comes up. People are
because
infected.
you take it with you.
Yes.
It's genius.
We drive to the Netherlands. I call.
You drive to the Netherlands. Okay.
Yeah, from Italy. I call the internal affairs of the country. I call them. I said, a woman picks up. I said, I don't know what I went to Italy. I think I might be infected.
Yes.
What do I need to do?
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know. It was like early days. It was luxurious.
But this it took some time from Italy to come to the Netherlands. I don't know how many weeks. I think here lockdown was the very first of April or something. 2020.
First was Tilburg.
Yeah. But at what month? I think April, right? 1st of April, 2020.
Something like that. Yes. And then the thing went. So the Netherlands is by definition already a boring country if you compare it to other countries at like evenings and stuff, right? People are not prepared. People think, oh, for example, Egypt, and then you go outside, everybody walks masjid.
Yeah.
Stuff at night is open. Spain, maybe siesta, whatever. You come to the Netherlands, you wake up at 9, or you wake up, you go to work at 9. Mm-hmm. If you have a meeting at 10, you're there 9:59 basically. Mm-hmm. You do everything on time. After 5 p.m., everybody goes home, sits, has dinner, watches TV, goes to sleep.
Yeah.
It's dead silence outside.
Mm-hmm.
And get that layer of COVID on top of that, and people get very lonely and very
That's the part. Yeah, that's really if you're alone. If you are alone, that's really that kicks in. Mm-hmm. Not even for COVID, even after the COVID went away.
Yeah.
If you are alone, that's always not a good thing, especially in a different country. You don't have your family with you. Yeah. So, alhamdulillah, I had the one kid at that time. So, I had my wife and the kid.
You were occupied.
Yeah, I was pretty occupied, yes. That I feel with expats. And I even give the advice for people to, if you want to help expats, go to the mosque. Because they are there. Yeah. Because they are bored.
Advice to us that go to the mosque because the expats are there.
Because you also have an intention not only to pray or to have more thawab in praying in jama'ah and with other people, but also to meet these people and say, hey, how are you doing? This kind of thing. That's the takeaway of their day because you don't have anything else.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's okay. What did you do today? I met a man.
Yeah.
I met a man at the mosque and he told me about 1, 2, 3. Probably there was an event somewhere because if you are an expat, you don't even know the language.
Don't know. Yeah.
So if you want to help, just start conversations with. I'm not talking in what do you call it? In the position of all the people that are not occupied with someone living in the same place, but I can imagine that this is hard. Yeah. I get it from a couple of friends also. Like they don't have anyone. Sometimes they call just to have a voice to talk to someone because it's so boring.
Yeah, loneliness can be quite intense for some people. Yeah. So I even met a guy today, and I said a brother, and I told him like, come to the Hifdh at the masjid because everybody's there, and he was like, is there even a masjid there? I only go to that one, and I didn't know that people come there and have iftar every day, So that come there, everybody will be there. So inshallah, I will, let's make the intention that we also try to, meet the new expats. In the country there.
So sometimes I just have this intention going to the mosque. If I'm going, of course, I need also to memorize myself that I need to do that. Just shaking hands of people, just smiling,
asking.
Yeah, what about your day?
Yes.
What about your health?
Yeah.
Sometimes people just get into talking for like 15 minutes.
Stuff here is very good, but it can get very boring very quickly.
Yeah. So that's probably that will help. Just talk to
Yeah.
if you know that someone is living alone, probably
Yeah. Yeah.
put a chat, because they think about it. If you're probably in the weekends, you go see your family or something every twice a month,
Yes,
something like
yes,
that. He
yes,
doesn't do that.
Yes.
He doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So
it's even we're so privileged that it's a chore sometimes, you know.
you know how many times I talk to my parents from from the minute that they go away to go back to Egypt, because they visit me once a year. Huh?
Yeah. I'm a spoiled kid.
Yeah, I talk to him just to convince him. Hey, come stay for a month.
Yeah.
Something.
Yes.
I need.
Was
I
that
need
the
you
first
around.
time? Last time?
So last time it was the first time. It was actually the first time for me even to stay in a place that I can invite them in. So I have extra room, this kind of things.
Yeah.
And Alhamdulillah, they stayed. They had fun. It was winter. We did not go out a lot.
Yeah.
It's really depressing in the winter. But they were at home around the kids, which is something for them. It's really good.
Really good.
So now I'm trying to sell it again. Say, come back this year for also 1 month. It's really, if you have your parents around, you're a privileged person.
Yeah, but it's you realize what you have until you don't, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's like, but it's So yeah.
A transition to the Netherlands, for me, it was easy. Not easy, but it was not that, I did not find difficult. They're really friendly people.
How's
speak English. They don't, they speak
That's
English.
a big problem. Everyone speaks English.
That's not,
It is a problem because it's a let's say a short-term solution, right? You come here, you don't need to speak the language because everybody speaks English.
Yeah.
But then you start, for example, at work, sometimes you need Dutch.
Yeah, but
Sometimes
you say you don't. You say you don't need, but I have a kid, so I need.
He will teach you.
He's actually now correcting me all the time.
You can speak Dutch?
I speak a little bit.
Dutch.
Yes.
Are you learning?
Yes, I'm in a B1 level.
Okay.
So I can understand when you guys talk.
Oh,
but
you
I
can?
cannot. Yes. Why? They don't talk anything bad. I know.
Because there's either people who are trying to make an effort, and then you hear them speak to you in Dutch with an accent, and then you reply in English like, "Hey, I'm helping you," but you're not helping the guy. You're actually making it more difficult for him.
You know what I do when this happens to me?
No.
I just reply in Dutch again. I'm torturing you. I know.
Yeah.
But you're not switching to English. I choose.
Yeah.
But when I first came, this was like very important. Like for 1 year, only one person I met in a shop that doesn't speak English. Only one.
Yeah, but
that includes everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah.
There's no issue with English.
That's why I have some friends who don't actually have any obligation to learn Dutch. They don't. Yeah.
And then, or some they're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna study here, and then after I'm done, I'm going back. And then they're here for 3 years, and like, hey, maybe I'm.
But if you are non-EU, you have to get this inburgering thing. I already did
it. That's A1 or A2. Right?
That's A2. Yes.
You had it.
Yeah, I already did it, but
you don't understand Dutch really well, right? If you have A2.
A2 is not enough, no.
No.
But I continued because I want to understand what's my son studying and
learning and everything.
And learning.
Yeah.
Sometimes he says some songs come back from school, and then I want to know what he's talking about.
What he's talking, yeah. So then you watch what's the show called again? Sesame Street in Dutch.
He doesn't watch. He watch. Now there is a new age like Paw Patrol. And,
Paw Patrol, Peppa Pig.
He has shoes with this pink thing. Yeah,
that's another problem. That's another problem. Whatever they do, they cry. Whatever you put the screen there, quiet.
No, we have a regulation for that. So he has a time every day.
But don't you sometimes have that urge, like, oh, if I just put that phone in front of him, he will not cry or not bother me?
No. If you ever have this feeling, you shouldn't have made any people, son, daughter, anyone, because then you don't have a responsibility. I see these people a lot.
Time to reevaluate.
Yeah, because if you have something that you put something in front of him, and then because that's
you're at the restaurant having nice steak, drinks, everything. You're trying to eat. The kid goes, I want to play.
Yeah. If he didn't have any screen time, he can have. This is gonna be his screen time. But normally, no. Normally, if he has like 30, if you are like he has a 1 hour, I even have a program for him. So one day Arabic, one day Dutch, and then now he learns English now.
TV.
So that's yes. So he learns Fusha, not from me and his mother because we speak the Egyptian dialect, but he learns Fusha from the TV.
Allahumma barik.
And also from his teacher. He has an online teacher that teaches him Quran and Arabic language. But the TV is really important because when he's in front of the TV, he doesn't blink. Everything is downloaded in his head.
You watch like just TV shows in Arabic. Like
Yeah, we have a lot of these. Yes, in Fusha even. Really, really good.
Yeah.
So this is mainly how I learned Fusha as well as a child.
TV shows.
Yeah, because I love a character and then he speaks this way, so I try to mimic. So it's the same with the Dutch and English and everything.
Yeah. No, I see this with children. They watch on YouTube, and then the type of content I see children consume on YouTube. I don't know if you're aware of it, but it's the definition of zero content, zero information. It's just there are people who make video. The game, right? GTA.
Mm-hmm.
We have a car and everything.
Yeah.
They make the car very colorful, so it that huge saturation or contrast, whatever, it has an effect on children, right? All those colors.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole video is 1 hour. The car is driving down some hill and then crashing into a wall.
Now you have to regulate that.
Yeah, but for example, if you put on YouTube and you're not paying attention, that autoplay, it will drive you into a hole where there are children painting, just throwing paint around, or I can't even explain it. It makes no sense. And
because no, that's not good. There is a lot of actually solutions for that now. They make a subscription for some applications like YouTube Kids, this kind of things that you choose which programs that they. It's really can be monitored. And I also have one rule that they cannot watch TV or in front of the tablet by their own. There has to be me and their mother listening. Because they can touch, they can even use the remote control now, clicking on different things and then getting a content that you don't want your kid to get.
You have people making content for children.
Yeah, grown people.
I see grown people.
Yeah, grown-ups.
Yeah, dressed up in something.
Yeah, okay.
Children. And I don't understand how you can think of making that kind of content where they're just doing stupid stuff for hours long, and they're making so much money of it.
That's why they do it.
Oh man, it sounds so degenerate.
That's how. No, there's a lot of things that people do for money. That's one of them.
Yeah, I know, but if I would describe degeneracy, I would show them those videos that the children are watching.
But it has no message to it. That's what you're saying.
No message, no content, and you're 25 years old. What are you doing making this stuff?
Okay. No, but if you're teaching kids something, sometimes this silly stuff works with kids, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah, you need to watch. So they say it's like putting a seed in the ground and then waiting for 20 years.
Yeah.
And if you put a bad seed, it's gonna be a bad tree.
And you need to keep watering.
Yeah. And also another advice for me and for everyone else: if you want someone to do something, just do it yourself first. If you want your kid,
don't be on YouTube all day.
Exactly. If you want your kid to be 1 hour, don't hold the phone the entire day. If you want your kid to eat salad, don't throw the salad away when it's put in front of you.
So you watch your screen time when your children are around to make sure.
Of course. Because also with the eating. So I had this experience, like I wasn't eating a certain kind of food and I want him to eat because it's good. But I tell myself, okay, why I'm not eating myself?
Yeah,
he never ate this kind of food.
Yeah.
And then when I said, okay, let me switch, let me eat it. Now he started with it.
Yeah.
He starts with it. I don't say anything. I just do.
Yeah.
So if you want a kid, never smoke. Don't smoke in front of him. If you want a kid, never spend 24 hours in front of the screen. Don't do that in front of him. That's also the eating. Anything that you want him. If you want your kid, never yell at his mother. Don't yell at your wife. Then your kid will never yell at his mother because he never seen that before.
Yeah. That's good advice.
Yeah.
I think we can safely close it off.
Yes.
Right? We had a good discussion about Tajweed.
Long discussion.
Long discussion. I don't know.
That reminds me of the discussion we had that day in 2020. We also spent like 2 hours.
Long time. Time flies when you're deep in a conversation. I want to thank you for it.
Thanks.
I want to thank the viewers for watching. And of course, check out our other videos, our other content. If you're in our area or at the university, or you're a student and you're an expat and you're looking for a community, like-minded people, we host events. We have lectures. We have online content. You can follow us. And I hope to see you either online or offline the next time, inshallah. Barakallah fiqh, Abdullah.
Fikum barakallah, jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.